Black Mirrors, the entire history of you, explained and analysed. Hi everyone, welcome to another installment of my Black Mirror series analysis. Today we're going to be explaining and analysing the episode The Entire History of You. Grain technology. The story is set sometime in the nearish future, where recording and storing all your memories via a small implant behind the back of your ear, a so-called grain, is commonplace. The grain, in conjunction with a small remote control, allows people to play back and review everything that has ever happened in their past, either privately in front of their eyes or more publicly on a screen. These playbacks are dubbed redos. The episode opens on lawyer Liam's appraisal. The interviewees mentioned that they think his office could take on retrospective parenting cases, where individuals would be able to sue their parents for bad parenting and the resulting negative impact on the rest of their lives. Liam questions whether the firm is okay with that, perhaps voicing his own doubts about the way grains allow people to review the past again and again when making judgments about present relationships. The interviewees are surprised by the question and make it clear that they find these cases acceptable, and Liam hurriedly agrees that he is okay with it too. They then let him know that they would like to do an extensive redo of his memories for the quarter and ask him if there have been any major deletions, indicating that in this world there are certain limits on how much memory a person can delete from their grains without raising suspicion. After the interview, Liam jumps in a taxi and asks to be taken to the airport. He uses his grain remote control to pay for the ride. Liam then pulls out his recording of the appraisal and his eyes become milky as he reviews the footage. He is unsure whether it has gone well or not. At the airport, before Liam can board his flight, he has to go through security, which involves him playing back his last 24 hours and then his last week. Satisfied that there is nothing suspicious, the security personnel let him proceed. The dinner party. We then join a group of friends at a dinner party where one of them, Jeff, is showing the others a redo of a recent holiday, and he's complaining about a frayed carpet. He is annoyed that he will now have a memory of that carpet for the rest of his life. One of his friends, Jonas, points out that Jeff will only be bothered by the frayed carpet if he keeps looking at it and keeps focusing on the negative. A little later, Liam arrives at the party and he sees his wife Ffion engaged in conversation with Jonas, and his suspicions are immediately raised. When Ffion spots him, her easy expression and manner changes, but she masks it with a smile and approaches him. She asks about his appraisal, and when Liam hints that it didn't go perfectly, they agree to discuss it later when they have privacy. She introduces Liam to her friends, and Liam's dislike for Jonas increases as he finds the other man over-familiar. There's clearly some tension in Liam and Fion's marriage, and that becomes even more apparent when a new guest, Colleen, arrives, and Liam introduces himself to her as a soon-to-be unemployed/unemployable lawyer. Ffion is unimpressed that Liam has chosen to share this information with a virtual stranger out of the blue. When the hostess asks Liam about his appraisal, he tells the group that he's unsure as to how it went, and they urge him to throw a redo up on a screen so they can critique him. Liam and Ffion are again on different pages, as Liam seems okay with the idea, but Ffion is uncomfortable. Just as Liam also thinks better of it and is about to refuse, Jonas interrupts and tells the group to back off and leave Liam alone. This magnanimous gesture grates on Liam. He didn't need Jonas to step in and rescue him from his predicament. At dinner, a new person joins the group, Hallam, and she sets herself apart when she reveals she doesn't have a grain. Everyone reacts with surprise and disbelief, as having a grain is so much a part of the society they live in. Their reaction is similar to how people today would react to someone declaring they don't have a smartphone or any form of social media. When asked if her decision was politically motivated, she says no, and tells them that her grain was stolen. She was attacked and the implant was gouged out. Jonas asks to see Hallam's injury, and he pulls back her hair to reveal deep scarring from her attack. He jokes that she doesn't appear to have any brain damage, and Hallam says her sight also remained intact. So clearly having the grain removed in this way is dangerous and could have had serious repercussions. There's a black market for these grains, and Hallam jokes that some Chinese pervert is sitting watching redos of her most intimate moments. After her gouging, Hallam decided she quite liked not having a grain and decided not to get another one implanted. She's clearly happy with her decision, but it makes the rest of the group uncomfortable. It's an alternative position. Colleen, who works in grain development, talks about how organic memories aren't accurate. Her point is that the footage recorded by the grains are exact recordings of what happened, whereas organic memories can be manipulated and even falsely implanted. Hallam listens politely, but she is not convinced. She prefers to live in the moment, and she doesn't need her grain technology to look back on the past. Liam's jealousy. As Liam and Ffion ride home after the dinner party, he shows her a redo of his appraisal, and we get a glimpse of how they can function quite well together. He's looking to her for reassurance, and she's watching the interview attentively. She even notices one of the interviewees marking down a tick while Liam is talking. She sees it as a positive sign, but Liam dismisses it, and here we see how insecure and paranoid Liam can be. Throughout the episode, he's been replaying his appraisal, and when he's not doing that, he's been replaying Ffion and Jonas's tete-a-tete at the dinner party and questioning in his mind what could have been nothing more than an innocent conversation between two old friends. He then starts to complain about Jonas and how arrogant he found him, and Ffion is visibly annoyed by his comments. She asks why Liam invited Jonas over, and we realize that Jonas is indeed following Liam and Ffion home. The pair asked him to join them for a nightcap, and he agreed. Liam asserts that he only invited Jonas to join them because Ffion was keen, and she immediately pulls out a redo proving that it was Liam who explicitly invited Jonas over. Ffion tells Liam if he doesn't want Jonas to join them, all he has to do is take back the invitation, and this results in a very awkward encounter outside the couple's front door, where Liam proceeds to disinvite Jonas. Ffion backs her husband, and Jonas takes the hint and leaves. Once home, Ffion relieves the babysitter of her duties and then settles down to watch a recording from their baby's grain to ensure everything was okay while they were away at dinner. It's interesting that grains are so widely accepted in society that even babies who can't decide whether or not they want one can be implanted if their parents choose. Similar to how parents in this day and age can choose to upload and record their children via social media without their consent. Liam has poured both of them a drink, and domestic bliss appears to have been restored. But while Ffion watches the footage, Liam can't help but return to his questioning about Jonas. His interrogation and inability to let his suspicions of Jonas go illustrate how Liam is quite well suited to be a lawyer. As Liam continues to push, Ffion reveals she and Jonas dated for about a month years ago in Marrakesh. Liam has heard of this Mr. Marrakesh, and he asks Ffion to confirm that they dated for only a month. And when she does, he immediately jumps on her statement and reveals how she had initially told him it was only for a week. He throws up on screen the first time they ever had sex, and Ffion is seen telling Liam about Mr. Marrakesh and saying that they dated for a week. Liam comments how their first time used to be a nice memory, but now it's marred by Mr. Marrakesh. His jealousy has ruined something that was a beautiful memory of the couple's first time. Ffion tells him that he's getting obsessed, and she reveals that the couple has gone through something similar in the past, when Liam became jealous and obsessed over some guy named Dan. So Liam has some form when it comes to this type of behavior. As the argument escalates, Liam says Ffion can sometimes be a bitch, and he's immediately contrite as he realizes he's gone too far. He attempts to apologize and asks her to erase that encounter, but Ffion refuses and replays him calling her a bitch over and over again, omitting the word sometimes so that it makes Liam appear even worse. Each of them use the redos to catch each other out and punish each other, just as jealous and warring couples use social media and text messages to one-up their partners during arguments. After things cool down, Liam apologizes to Ffion, who sincerely tells him she loves him. The couple then proceed to make love, but the moment of connection is false, as they are both watching redos of earlier sexual encounters in order to get in the mood. This is a further illustration of the poor state of their marriage. Liam's spiral. The next morning, things are no better. Liam has spent all night drinking and watching redos of the dinner party. He also used the lip-reading functionality to reveal what Ffion said to Jonas when Liam first spotted them chatting the night before. On the face of it, the conversation wasn't anything too sinister. Ffion tells Jonas she was nervous when she found out he would be at the party, but that could have been down to any number of reasons, not least of which is knowing that her husband, who is prone to jealousy, may be attending the party. When Gina, the babysitter, who had stayed overnight, comes to say goodbye, Liam doesn't let her leave and ropes her into viewing his redos. He wants to know if a joke that Jonas made the night before is funny or not. Ffion found the joke funny, but Liam doesn't feel the joke was good enough to warrant her enthusiastic laughter. Ffion comes into the room and sees what Liam is up to. She realizes that Liam still hasn't let go of his obsession with her past relationship with Jonas, and she's also embarrassed that Gina is witnessing all this. Liam then pulls up his and Fion's conversation with Jonas when they invited him back to theirs, and this time we see the redo from Liam's perspective. Ffion does indeed seem reluctant to call an end to the night, which results in Liam inviting Jonas back. This illustrates how contrary to what Colleen was suggesting the night before, that even when the past is recorded, events can be viewed differently by different people. Luckily for Gina, her dad arrives to pick her up, and she's saved from having to offer any more opinions on the night before. After Gina leaves, Liam makes Ffion sit down and go through all the little things he's noticed from the night before. How her mood changes when she sees Liam arrive at the party, how she has a soft look when she listens to Jonas's stories, and how her expression immediately changes when she looks over at Liam and sees him observing her. He then confronts her with footage from a redo that was played by the host at the dinner party. The footage shows Fion's group of friends back in their heyday having fun, and Liam zooms into a clip which shows Ffion and Jonas kissing in the background. They are clearly not in Marrakesh, and he demands to know how long Ffion and Jonas actually dated, and she confesses that it was 6 months. So far, Liam's obsessiveness and paranoia have been very over the top, and our sympathies have tended toward Ffion, who is having to deal with a borderline abusive husband. But her lie about the length of her relationship with Jonas makes her less of a sympathetic character. The altercation. Liam's actions then get even more extreme as he goes drink driving to Jonas's house. Jonas lets him in, but he knows something is wrong, and after Liam asks if a lamp he has in his house is from Marrakesh, Jonas realizes that Liam knows about his past relationship with Ffion. He tries to get Liam to leave, but Liam refuses. Hallam then joins them. She spent the night with Jonas. When Jonas physically tries to get Liam to leave, Liam smashes a bottle of alcohol over Jonas's head, causing Hallam to scream. In the next scene, we see Liam has crashed his car, and once he wakes up, he plays a redo of what happened at Jonas's house. After Liam hit Jonas with the bottle, the pair fought, and Hallam tried to call for police assistance. But when she told the operator she didn't have a grain feed to show them what was happening, they hung up. Liam went on to demand that Jonas delete all memories of Ffion from his memory bank, and when Jonas went to do it via his eyes, Liam wouldn't allow it and ordered Jonas to throw up the memories on screen so that he could see the deletion for himself. After Jonas complied, Liam yelled at him to stay away from his home and family before leaving. Liam plays the scene over and over again, and he bends over horrified at what he's seen. And while we may at first think it's because he's realized his behavior was out of control and completely unacceptable, there's something else, something more. Fion's deception. Liam returns home and asks Ffion whether she and Jonas used a condom when they slept together, and whether their baby is really his. Ffion is shocked by his questions and insists their daughter is Liam's. This is when Liam shows her his redo of what happened at Jonas's house. He zooms into the screen where Jonas has pulled up all memories of Ffion, and 18 months ago there's a thumbnail of the pair of them in Liam and Fion's very own bedroom. An unusual painting that Liam gifted Ffion hangs in the room, and the thumbnail shows that very same painting in the background, damning Ffion and revealing her infidelity. Ffion desperately explains it happened when Liam had previously walked out on her when they were fighting about Dan. Liam demands to see her redo of when she and Jonas slept together. He wants to know whether Jonas used a condom or not, and Ffion tries to surreptitiously delete the footage behind her eyes, but Liam catches her and stops her. He insists on seeing the redo, and Ffion desperately refuses, knowing that if Liam were to see with his own eyes exactly what happened, the couple would never be able to get past it. But Liam won't listen, and finally Ffion gives in and plays the footage for him. It could have all been so different. After this incident, the episode shows a flashback to when Liam and Ffion were happy. The memory we are shown occurred only a day before the appraisal, as we see a snippet of it when he was showing the security at the airport a redo of his last 24 hours. Even though they had a troubled marriage, the couple had moments of togetherness throughout the episode. Examples include when Ffion asked about the appraisal, and the pair employ the kind of shorthand communication that develops over long-term relationships to agree that they would talk about it at length later. When Ffion tries to point out the positives of Liam's appraisal when reviewing his redo in the taxi ride home, and when she agrees to disinvite Jonas from their impromptu after-party suggestion. At the end of the episode, Liam is lying alone in their bed. The artwork that he gave Ffion is nowhere to be seen, and as Liam wanders through the house, everything is a mess and there is missing furniture. Although it's not obvious what happened to Ffion and their baby, and some have even speculated that Liam might have killed them, Charlie Brooker has clarified that the ending was meant to indicate that the marriage ended and Ffion had moved out with their child, hence the missing furniture and general disarray in the home. Liam thinks back to all the good times in his relationship and finally seems to recognize that his jealousy and inability to leave the past alone has led to him losing his family. Yes, Ffion was dishonest and unfaithful, but in his quest to find out the truth by any and all means necessary, he has lost everything that meant anything to him. We don't know if Liam was always jealous and possessive, or if it was triggered as a result of Fion's actual or imagined affair with Dan. But we do know that the grain technology exacerbated the situation. It allowed him to review redos again and again to find hints of an affair. His behavior reflects how sinister the behavior of jealous partners can become when they stalk their other half, be it on social media or by going through their phones, or in this case by going over redos of their past again and again. Liam's obsession is an extreme extrapolation of Jeff's similar obsession with his frayed carpet earlier in the episode. Jeff's carpet stopped him from remembering an amazing luxury holiday, and Liam's determination to uncover his wife's affair stopped him from taking a step back and viewing the value and importance of his relationship in its entirety. In the final moments of the episode, Liam cuts out his grain in a brutally graphic scene. As he pulls out the implant, a series of happier memories flash through his brain before the screen cuts to black. We don't know the damage done as a result of his at-home surgery, but we have been told the dangers by Hallam earlier in the episode. Surveillance society. Although the episode of The Entire History of You chooses to focus on the impact of grain technology on personal relationships, there are indications of how the technology has changed society as a whole. At Liam's appraisal, he's expected to show his redos to his employers. When he jumps in a taxi, he uses his remote control to pay for it. And when he goes through airport security, he must present his recordings from the week before. It makes you wonder how people like Hallam can function effectively in this world. Her decision not to have a grain shocked her fellow diners, and Colleen even commented how hookers often opt to go grainless for obvious reasons. People engaged in behavior they would rather not record don't have grains, but everyone else does, as the people who go grainless in this society do not have all the advantages available to them. A stark example of this is when Hallam attempts to call the police while Liam and Jonas are fighting, and the operator hangs up on her when Hallam reveals she doesn't have a grain feed. In our present-day world, we know that all our technology, our phones, our computers, our social media, give the authorities unprecedented levels of access to our private information and whereabouts. And we have allowed this encroachment because if we don't have our technology, we lose out on all the benefits. But the problem with this is that as our privacy continues to be chipped away at, we lose our boundaries, and if the authorities choose to, they could exploit our information in all sorts of ways. The security personnel at the airport, if they were so inclined, could have twisted anything in Liam's redo to be suspicious and not allowed him to board the plane. People in power can easily abuse their position in a surveillance society, and following that, a big brother state is not too much a stretch of the imagination. Although the episode does indicate how society is affected by this grain technology, the focus is very much on the domestic drama that is Liam and Fion's crumbling marriage. The main question posed is whether ignorance is bliss, and in this case the answer appears to be a yes. Liam's final decision to cut out his grain is his recognition of his own extreme behavior, and it is a gesture of atonement. And that brings me to the end of my explanation and analysis of The Entire History of You, a gut-wrenching story that exposes some of the ugliest aspects of relationships. As always guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and look out for more upcoming Black Mirror episode explanation and analysis videos. Thanks so much for watching and make sure to subscribe.